Down in Yazoo City, Mississippi, there's a grave wrapped in heavy iron chains. Not hidden, not guarded, just sitting in plain sight like the town wants you to see it and think twice about getting too close. There ain't no proper name carved there, just a marker identifying the grave as the Witch of Yazoo. Big iron chains lay wrapped around the grave, pressed deep into the dirt like somebody was scared of what might happen if they ever came loose. And once you hear how those chains got there, you start understanding why this town still talks about her over 100 years later. Long before the story spread beyond Mississippi, folks around Yazoo treated it more like a warning than a campfire tale. Local accounts described a woman living deep in the swamp along the Yazoo River, where the mud sat thick and the trees blocked out the daylight. Fishermen started disappearing out that way, and before long, people blamed the strange woman living near the water. Some reports claimed she lured men toward the shoreline where her hut was by sounding weak or helpless. Other witnesses later recalled hearing strange cries drifting through the swamp late at night. Either way, those men never came back. Fear settled over the town fast. Families warned their sons to stay away from that stretch of river. Fishermen stopped traveling those waters alone after sundown. A handful of residents later reported seeing smoke rising through the trees where the woman supposedly lived, hidden away from the rest of town. Eventually, the sheriff gathered together a posse to hunt her down, but the deeper they pushed into the swamp, the stranger things started feeling. The woman seemed to know every inch of that muddy wilderness better than the men chasing her. Every time they thought they had her cornered, she slipped away again like fog through the trees. The swamp itself almost felt alive around them. Boots sank deep into the mud. Thick water slid around fallen trees. Strange sounds echoed through the dark brush where nobody could see what made them. Before long, even the sheriff's men were starting to look over their shoulders. Later retellings of the story suggest the posse no longer felt like they were hunting a woman that night. Deep in that swamp, they started believing they were tracking something far worse. Whatever they believed they were casing, the hunt finally came to an end on May 25th, 1884. According to the legend, the woman stepped into hidden quicksand tucked beneath the dark swamp water. At first, she fought hard against it, clawing and thrashing as the mud dragged her lower inch by inch. The posse caught up quick after that, and they just stood there watching. Now, whether she truly was a witch or simply somebody feared by the town depends on who's telling the story. But nearly every version agrees on one thing: the sheriff never tried to save her. Not once. The woman screamed and begged while the quicksand swallowed her deeper. Later accounts describe her voice changing before the end, growing colder and meaner as she locked eyes with the sheriff. Then she spoke the words people in Yazoo still remember over 100 years later.
In 20 years, I will return and burn this town down to the ground.
The posse stayed there until the swamp finally swallowed her whole. No prayers, no mercy, just muddy water slowly settling back, still and quiet. Later, the sheriff and his men returned for the body and buried her in Glenwood Cemetery. But they didn't bury her like everybody else. Heavy iron chains were wrapped around the grave before the dirt was filled in. Many people at the time believed iron could weaken evil and keep dark things from wandering where they didn't belong. And judging by the fear those men carried back from the swamp, they truly believed those chains were necessary. After the woman was buried, life in Yazoo slowly settled back down. Folks returned to fishing, working, and raising families. Over time, the story started feeling more like an old river tale than something real. But some people never forgot the witch's final words. As the years passed, folks quietly noticed the date getting closer. Then came May 25th, 1904, exactly 20 years after the woman died. That day started normal enough until a fire broke out inside a home in town. At first, nobody panicked much. Fires happened back then, and usually neighbors could stop them before they spread too far. But this fire behaved different. Strong winds suddenly tore through Yazoo City, throwing flames from rooftop to rooftop faster than anybody could stop it. Smoke swallowed the sky while families ran through the streets, dragging out whatever belongings they could carry. Witnesses later described flames jumping from rooftop to rooftop faster than anyone thought possible. Businesses burned, homes collapsed, entire blocks lit up orange, while people stood helpless, watching everything they owned disappear right in front of them. By the time the flames finally died down, most of Yazoo City sat blackened and ruined, and that's when people started remembering words they'd spent 20 years trying to forget. Once folks started putting the dates together, fear spread through Yazoo City faster than the fire itself had. People who'd laughed off the old legends suddenly weren't laughing anymore. According to local lore, people rushed straight to Glenwood Cemetery, desperate to see the grave for themselves. And what they found out there sent a chill through every corner of Yazoo City. The iron chains around the grave had snapped apart. Several accounts from the time described the links as twisted, like they'd been ripped loose by brute force. Other reports claimed the chains were scattered around the grave as if something had broken free in a hurry. Either way, the sight was enough to turn an old river story into something people truly feared. After that, the legend spread far beyond Yazoo City. Parents passed the story down to their children. Visitors carried the tale back home with them. Before long, the Witch of Yazoo became one of the South's most famous ghost stories. But here's the part that still unsettles folks today. Local caretakers and visitors have long reported that those chains never seem to stay fixed for long. Over the years, they've reportedly been repaired again and again, only to later be found broken, loosened, or pulled apart once more. Some blame vandals looking for attention. Others ain't too sure that's the real reason. And even now, there are people in Yazoo City who believe those chains are the only thing keeping the Witch of Yazoo where she belongs. These days, people still visit Glenwood Cemetery looking for the Witch of Yazoo's grave. Some come because they love ghost stories. Others come because they want to see those chains with their own eyes. And maybe that's why this story never truly faded away. Because parts of it are real. The fire happened. The cemetery is real. The chains are real too. Visitors can walk right up and see them sitting there for themselves. That's what keeps people wondering all these years later. Was there truly a woman feared enough to be buried beneath iron chains? Did the fire really happen on the exact day she promised revenge? Or has fear and storytelling twisted the truth together over time? Maybe nobody will ever know for certain. But down in Yazoo City, there are still locals who won't walk too close to that grave after sunset. Some refuse to touch the chains. Others still believe that if every last chain ever disappears, the Witch of Yazoo will finally rise again. And somewhere beneath those heavy iron chains in Glenwood Cemetery, the Witch of Yazoo rests in silence while the town keeps watching, just in case. For those of y'all who enjoy exploring old cemeteries and historic places, I've linked a few of my favorite tools and books down in the description. You might find them useful on your next adventure.